You're listening to The Business Focused Photographer. If you're ready to transform your photography business into a thriving career, you're in the right place. Each week, we'll discuss fun and innovative ways to boost your creativity and income. Sound good? Let's go. Hey, welcome back to the podcast. Today, we are here with my new friend, Scott Wyden-Kibowitz. Scott is a New Jersey-based surprise proposal photographer. And today, Scott's here just to give us insight and pull back the curtain on all things having to do with running a surprise proposal photography business. So welcome, Scott.
Thank you. I'm really excited about it. It's a fun topic to talk about since it's so different than normal.
I think it's going to be fascinating. I have I have shot one proposal, but it was integrated into a family session, which is unorthodox, frankly. And but I've sent my associates on quite a few. But it's not like something that we generally market for. And so I would love to just get a little bit of insight on how you came to choose this niche and what that's looked like for you, a little bit of your origin story.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So for years, I've been photographing clients for over 20 years at this point, and for a long time, I was photographing families. I was photographing cake smash sessions for 1-year-olds. I was photographing headshots, the occasional weddings, and um, more of my focus was on families over the years. And for some reason, during COVID, um, two people asked me to photograph their proposals, and it caught me a little off guard because I never did one before. So I started doing research into like how do you do it where you can ensure that you're getting the photo, but still stay hidden, and uh, how do you help your client to be discreet with all the planning without their partner finding out and all that. And so I did all this research, and I helped plan the proposals for two different people, and I documented the process not only for myself but for my YouTube channel, for my website. And I figured if I'm going to learn how to do this the proper way, I'm going to teach other photographers how to do this as well. And because I've also been teaching photographers for years too. And so I did that. I created a YouTube video, a couple of them, and I documented the process in different blog articles and things like that. And then I created a landing page for surprise proposals, which has evolved over the years. But what happened was purely organic. After these two sessions and all this content I created, all of a sudden I'm ranking #1 in New Jersey for surprise proposals. So I started getting dozens and dozens of leads for it every single week, to the point where it's a good problem to have, but also I can only handle so much. And I
Right.
can explain why that is in a moment too. But so basically, the shift from families, cake smashes, and headshots just got focused to proposals, which are fun and stressful, and in some ways less work, but also more work. It's very, very strange.
No, I can totally I believe every word of that because yes, fun and stressful. You're basically getting like the highest adrenaline rush
Yes.
that is possible. But what if you're found out? What if they say no? Like what like all of
Yeah.
these what ifs that are up in the air
Yeah.
that do make it like a little bit precarious. And congrats on the high SEO ranking. That's incredible. So do talk a little bit about why you can only do so many a week, and then what that looks like in anything you've done to mitigate that, so-called problem.
Yeah. Yeah. Straight out of I went to college for photography. Straight out of college, I knew that I did not want to photograph paid work for a living. I didn't want that to be my full-time job. So I have been working on the education and software and service side of the industry. So I work at a company called Imagine. Um,
I know Imagine. Do you still work at Imagine?
Yeah, yeah. I was one of the first employees at Imagine. I've been there for almost 5 years.
I would
Um,
have included that in your intro, that's huge. Everybody loves Imagine. Okay, sorry, continue.
um, yeah, yeah. I because I have a full-time job and I'm in the photo industry day in, day out, but because I have this full-time job, I only have so much time, you know, to take on so many sessions every single week if I when I want to.
Right.
So I have this. It's this good problem to have. I have this luxury of being able to say no to
Yeah,
to
yes,
clients.
yes.
Um, or so it's worked out in my local friends' favors where I'm doing a lot of referrals. um,
Yes,
so,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
but there is like, and I'm sure we can get to this. I can only make so much with a surprise proposal session, but there's potential if I needed to, if I wanted to. There's potential to make a lot more if I didn't have my full time job at Imagine.
Right,
There's
right.
potential where I could ramp it up and also make more with referrals and things like that.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of, plug for a plug for, the episode that dropped shortly before we're recording is all about referrals within the photography industry, and a photographer who is actually, like a realtor would, collecting a referral from her, or collecting, pay for her referrals, and it's
mhm,
something, it's a nice alternative to associates, but this makes sense. What would you mind sharing what you feel like is the cost cap that there might be for people looking to have their
yeah.
proposals, photographed?
Yep. So in my area, so I'm in New Jersey. New Jersey is a very interesting state. Most
Yeah.
people, when they think of New Jersey, they think of where the airport is near New York
Newark.
City, and it's really
Yeah.
stinky and industrial, which is very, very true. But New Jersey is a very diverse state.
Only at low tide, okay?
Yeah. um, but it's very diverse, and you could go from this industrial area to suburbs to urban to farmland.
Mhm.
And I live where I am is very much farmland, and I'm about 25 minutes inland from the shore towns, like the beach.
So you're on that
Um,
side. Yeah, I drove
yeah.
down to Philly. I'm in the Catskills, so New
Hmm.
Jersey was the way down to Philly for me.
Yep.
And, holy crow, man, like, getting down to those most beautiful farming communities, like, with
Yeah.
these gorgeous old farmhouses, and it's like, you could tell there were some bougie farming communities in there too, but New Jersey blew my mind when I was in
Yeah.
college, and I had to bring my then boyfriend to Morristown? Is that
Hmm.
Morristown? Okay.
Yep.
And I'm like, "Whoa," I'm in the woodsy mountains right now, like, this is
Yeah.
not this is
Yeah.
this is, like, not the New Jersey I know. So, yes, yeah, just to corroborate that New Jersey is super diverse. So you're finding it,
Yes.
and do you feel like this is tied to the spending, caps that there are within your local market?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, I'm the only one in my area that focuses on proposals. A lot of the photographers in my area do offer proposals, but I'm the only one that focuses on it.
Right,
But because they might do weddings or they might photograph families or engagement sessions or whatever it might be, they can lowball the proposals because they're just shooting the proposal and leaving, right?
right.
So when people compare, they're looking at these low prices. So I started out when I shifted to just do proposals. I started out at 500 just for the session, just to help them plan because I actually do help them plan the proposal,
Yeah,
and to show up, photograph it, do the engagement session that I do with it, and it's an hour of work. Since then, I've raised the price, so my minimum session fee now is 750, uh,
okay,
and that again is just to help them plan and show up, and they get a gallery, right? So I use PickTime. They get a PickTime gallery, and they can buy prints. They can order albums, whatever they want to do. I don't do IPS.
uh-huh,
Um, I could, again, if I had the time, if I wanted to, I could put more effort into that, but
yeah,
I don't have the time.
yeah,
Um, so, I give them the gallery, and 9 times out of 10, they're buying prints. So on average, I'm making between one and $1,200, like $1,000 to $1,200 per client. Some go higher, some go a little lower, but typically it's between 1,000 to 1,200 per client for basically a 1 hour job
Right.
at the end of the day.
For 1 hour of shooting, right? But, I
Yep.
mean,
There's a
your
lot of prep ahead of time.
but this is yeah, and this is why, your level of expertise and experience in doing this is why we don't charge by the hour is because what you've, accrued as a professional has been, like, efficiency, and you're able to do a lot quickly with with the know-how, with the local knowledge, to do this. So are you having a lot of people do you feel like most of your clients are locals, or are there a lot of people visiting the area and planning the proposal around their trip
Very good
there?
question.
Yeah,
It's a mixed bag, but honestly, I think that most are actually traveling to this area for different reasons,
yeah,
which I find fascinating. Like one job that I just refer to somebody else because I didn't feel comfortable with where the location. Um, and I'll explain that in a second.
yeah.
They were actually flying in from, I think it was California for it. Um, but the guy who was proposing to his partner, she grew up in New Jersey, which is
Okay.
why the location was in a cemetery at her father's grave. Very strange.
I
I
mean,
I
to each
I
his
didn't feel
own though,
comfortable.
right?
Yes,
Right?
and
Right?
so the person I referred it to, I said to him, "Do you feel comfortable with this?" Because I don't. My biological father died when I was very
Sorry.
young, so
Yeah.
that's why I would never do that ever. Um, but her father died, I guess, not long ago, and so I guess for some reason he thinks it's romantic to propose at his grave,
Right.
and so when asked my friend, "Would you want this?" Because he's actually local to where this cemetery is as well. He said, "Well, is it a goth thing or is there an actual reason? Like, is there a?" I said, "Well, I copy and pasted the information from the lead form, and there was an actual reason." And he said, "I'll take it." So
I mean,
you
it's not
know,
gonna
and
be like the banner image on your homepage, but
right. I probably one I would if I was to shoot it, I wouldn't share it at for sure,
right,
but I
right.
also wouldn't shoot it. So, yeah.
Do you
So, yeah,
do
there's
you get a lot of really interesting requests?
um not usually too far that was the weirdest one I've ever gotten, for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
But again, weird for me, not for somebody else, of course.
Right, right.
So a lot of the ones I get are in at Princeton University, which is very strange. Um, I did
It
one
must
at
be
Princeton
beautiful
Uni
there, though. It
It
must
is
be beautiful there.
gorgeous.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and there's always different reasons. Always
Mhm.
different reasons. So,
Right.
one person wanted to do it because he and his now, wife love Harry Potter, and the architecture is very much a Harry Potter vibe.
Okay.
And other w like, they went to Princeton, but then they moved out. I think they live in Washington now, and then, they come back to New Jersey to visit family once a year, and he's like, "I'm going." This is one of the recent ones that I did. He said, "I we used to when we were dating, we would have lunch dates on this one bench in this garden. That's where I wanna propose." So, that was a fun one. Um, you know, I helped design all the flower arrangements and things like that. But because
Wow.
of the location of where it was in this park, there was nowhere for me to hide. So, the way I planned it is my wife came, it happened to be her birthday. So, my wife came with my 2 kids, and so, I know those who are listening can't see this, but if the bench is here, there's a path leading up to
Mhm.
it. Right here is a fountain, a beautiful fountain that
Okay.
because the time of year is empty, but,
Right,
I
right.
was I was photographing my wife and kids in front of the fountain when they walked up, and that was my way of hiding, was pretending I was photographing other people.
This is so
So
fun. This is so fun. Yeah.
so there's a lot of planning to, like, figure out,
Absolutely.
okay, I knew the location, I photographed there hundreds of times. I know I because of where that bench was, I knew I couldn't hide. I'm in plain sight no matter what.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, you have to come up with creative ways. There's only one time where I couldn't hide and I had to legit act, um, because it was a wide open field in the winter covered in snow, and I'm like, "Well, I don't blend in." So
Yeah, why is this dude with a camera here?
yeah, so I was photographing birds,
Right. Right.
and then I said to him, come up to me and, ask me to take a picture of the 2 of you and your dogs with your phone, and then I'll offer to use my camera and email you the photos."
So, okay, I don't wanna jump the gun because it's a whole lot of, like, first this, then that in the sequence of what you do. But
Yeah,
I do wanna hear more about this part of the process of how you're this incognito person who has to either pretend, either hide it behind a bush
yep,
or act
literally.
or yeah,
Yep,
like, yes, literally.
yeah.
So talk a little bit about what that's like, and does that mean that wherever you're photographing this couple, you need to be uber familiar with the
Yeah,
location?
yeah. So, if it's a location I'm unfamiliar with and it's close enough that I can drive to and not it's not so far out of my way, I will actually meet up with the client there early or go there by myself and scope it out.
Okay.
That's part of that's part of it. Like, if it's gonna take me 10, 15 minutes to drive there and I will feel more comfortable, I will do it. Um, Otherwise, I am using Google Maps, Google Earth, I'm
Mhm.
using all the street views, I'm using all the
Dropping the little green
satellites.
man and the
Oh,
different
yeah,
yeah.
I'm scoping it all out as much as I possibly can if it's too far out of the way. I actually had a one client who he knew that it was too far. And by the way, if it is a far job, I charge more than the 750. I charge a travel fee, so on top of it. Um,
Right.
but I had a client who actually went to the location by himself and sent me videos and photos of where he was thinking, and he narrated as he was walking, like, "I'm thinking about walking this way," and he actually,
Yeah.
walked it and did everything. So that is helpful if the client is already close by. But otherwise, either way, I am getting to the location and I will sit there twiddling my thumbs for an hour just to make sure that I know I give myself an hour ahead of time
Right.
to scope it out, find my spot. But then, unfortunately, if it's a busy place like Princeton University, I'm now also sort of playing bodyguard to the location because
Right.
I have had at Princeton once where there was another photo session happening in a similar area, and once where to my direct back, literally, I was back to back with another photographer photographing another proposal.
Stop it.
It was that was stressful.
That is stressful. And what are
Yeah,
the chances? But I guess it's pretty good.
yeah.
So do you feel like hiring a photographer to photograph a proposal is something that's popular where you are? And speaking to other photographers, do you find that it's not always a thing in other places? Because it sounds like it is popular where you are.
Yeah, it's very popular where I am. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I mean, I'm so close to Philly. I'm so close
Mhm.
to New York City.
Yeah.
Um, and there's a lot of photographers in New Jersey. Um, and I think it's become part of the culture for sure to to photograph special occasions like that. And I don't know if it's my marketing efforts and others that are making it more popular, or if it's just, it could be things like, the TV shows, what Love Is Blind, Married at First Sight. There's all these reality TV shows that's all about marriages, proposing, and
Mhm.
love, and, those could be subliminally giving these, messages in people's heads to, "Hey, you know, I should
This is something
document
that should
that.
be televised.
Exactly. Um, I'm not complaining. It's
No.
every time I witness one, I get all the feels,
Yeah.
and I photographed and videoed my own to my wife many years ago, almost 15 years
How?
ago,
How did you do
almost
that?
16 years. So at the time I was working at a camera store, and again, like I said, I've always been on this side of the business.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Hey, can I
uh,
ask which camera store you're working at?
Sure. So there's a small camera store in New Jersey called Mac Camera and Video
Stop
Service.
it. Stop it. I have literally been to one camera store in New Jersey, and it was after photographing my husband's cousin's newborn session,
Okay.
and I needed something. I don't remember what it was, and I went there, and I still get their emails. Are there more than one Mac cameras in New Jersey?
Nope, that's the one.
They are small and lovely.
Yeah.
Sorry, continue.
Yes. Yeah, and they also they for the very long time were the largest camera warranty company in the world.
No kidding.
Um, yeah.
Oh,
So
cool, cool.
until um like B&H would sell their warranties, Autorama would sell their warrant. I mean, you name it, they would sell their warranties. And
Wow.
until like B&H came out with their own, Autorama came out with
Yeah,
their own, and so
yeah.
on. But so I
Sorry
was
for
working
that.
there, and I worked there for about 6 years, straight out of college, and I would have opportunities to test lights and cameras and all these devices. And
Yeah.
before digital SLRs had built-in intervalometers, um, I used a device called a promote control, which you would just hook up USB, or it might have been FireWire at the time. I don't even remember, to your camera, and it would just fire the shutter button on an interval that you set it to. So, I have this. So again, I have this all recorded. It's on my website. Um, I said to my wife at 6 in the morning, "Hey, I'm testing something." Yes, I proposed to her at 6 in the morning. Um, I want to test something real quick before work. Can you just stand here? She's not dressed. She has no makeup on. She was so mad at me. Um, but like so I owned a small condo at the time. So I had the camera on a tripod, and it was just firing, every, half a second it was
Yeah,
firing.
yeah, yeah.
And then on my bookshelf behind the camera was a video camera hidden sandwiched between some books. She had no idea that was there either. And I proposed to her. Of course, she said yes. And then she said, "Now I have to go to work." But in reality, she's a teacher. I called the principal at her school and told her what was happening. And she's like, "Text me." She gave me her cell phone. She's like, "Text me when it's done. I'll have the sub ready." So, so I got her off from work.
Amazing,
Yeah. And
amazing.
then it was a good day. We went to her parents, had lunch, celebrated, and it was good.
I mean, 6 AM is early for that, but then you
Yeah.
have the whole day to just, like, beam in the afterglow of your proposal.
Yeah.
That's a great story. My husband's a teacher too. What does your wife teach?
So she is a special ed teacher, language arts.
Wonderful,
She is
wonderful.
Yeah, right now she's in the high school. She is and going back to college to so she's special ed K through 12, and she passed the praxis for gen ed high school. Um and they told her, "You have to take 5 more classes and then it's all yours." So she's going back to take 5 classes to get her
Wow,
gen ed at 42 years old, but you know,
that's a baby. Come on, because 'cause I'm 40, so 42 can't be old.
yeah, it's not old.
And
It's
that's
just
normal too for women to have these big, career, highlights happening around that time
yeah.
too. I just saw a statistic. But anyway, congrats to her. I love that story. So do you think your own experience photographing that kind of informed your decision to
Oh,
eventually move
100%.
down?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, I had so much fun planning it for so long, my own proposal, that I get a lot of joy in helping other people plan and document, what they have been wanting to do for however long it's been, right? So, um, I I I tried to like not shape their story, but
Yeah.
help offer advice.
Mhm.
based on experiences I've had with different clients and things like that. So,
Right.
like, I tell them, like, if you are ever, questioning going one direction or another, let's talk about it. I'm not going to tell them this is what I think you should do. I'm just going to
Right.
help
Right.
direct them.
Yeah, well, you have that expertise, and I'm sure people are happy to hear it, because for most, not all, but for most people, their proposal is the first time that they're proposing, and at that location, and with so it is the first rodeo for most people. Can we now? This is what I should have started with, but can we start now? Somebody reaches out to you. What are they normally saying? What do they normally think they want? And does your offer kind of mold that and shape it into what it ends up being? And how do we go from there? And I also want to hear about your conversion rate. Because I personally have experience where what I quote, and we only charge a little bit more than you do. And most of the time people are traveling from New York City, so there's the budget for it typically. But it's normally what I quote when my associates do this is people. I have a good number of people who are like, "That's way more than I thought it was gonna be. I only need an hour." So, like, talk a little bit about that, what that onboarding process looks like when they do book, all just and if you forget the 20-part question I just gave you, I'll
Yeah, no worries. I have my lead form up on my other screen, so I'm just going to tell you what's on it,
Right.
just so that simplifies. So, of course, I'm asking for their name, email, phone number. I don't text or call right out of the gate. Um, I wait until like the lead is sort of validated
Mhm.
before I have phone conversation because, again, I don't want to waste their time. I don't want to waste my time. Um, I ask for their partner's first name. I ask where they are popping the question. Do they have a date in mind? Do they have a time that they're thinking? Anything else they want to share? And also, please tell me about yourselves, how you met, what activities you're into, any details that could probably work into the session. And how did you hear about me? So those are pretty much everything I need to start figuring out, okay, do I want this
Mhm.
or do I want to refer to somebody? What do I want to do with it? And then from there, they go into a so I use Flowdesk. So when they fill out the form, it goes into um like a workflow in Flowdesk that then sends them some educational emails about proposal photography. Sometimes I'm sending them like a video of the behind the scenes of how it all comes together. Um, and stuff like that. One thing I want to add into there, which I haven't yet, is an example gallery. So I have one because I do so many in Princeton. Not that I want to keep doing at Princeton, but I keep getting those leads for them.
Gotta give the people what they want though, Scott, right?
Exactly. So I actually created a pick time gallery that's just like Princeton session proposals, so
Cool.
people can see all the different places around campus. Now, on top of the form, I do two things. One, I have a split tested headline that says proposal photography starting at 750. Some people get it with the price showing and some people don't because I'm trying to see like, am I scaring away people that don't want them? And I'm okay if I scare them away because I don't want people who want less, right?
Right, 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 right.
And then the other thing that's there for when either way is currently booking after, and it's a date, and that date dynamically is um a month ahead, I believe. 3 weeks ahead. Right now, it's April 8th as of right now. We're recording this on March 25th. So,
Yes.
so it's I forgot what the exact many days that I set it for, but dynamically, thank you, ChatGPT, for helping me code this. It
And this is
literally just
coded inside of Flowdesk?
no, this box thing is just a
Oh, it's on
HTML
your
box on
website.
my WordPress site.
Oh, got it, okay,
Yeah.
cool.
And literally it just like tomorrow it will say currently booking after April 9th.
Right, it's like you can't buy cigarettes if you were born before this date, except you
Yeah,
don't have to
yeah.
tear off the paper every day, it's doing it for you. Yeah.
Yep. So what these two things, the split testing showing the pricing or not, and then showing the date I'm booking, has done 2 things. 1, got rid of leads that, uh, won't pay 750 at a minimum,
Right.
and also got rid of leads that are too short of notice. Because I am tired of replying to people who are like, "Hey, are you available tomorrow?" Like, "No, unless you
Yeah,
wanna
and
pay me $4,000, sure." You know? I'll
hey,
take
I
it.
mean, that's a consideration.
Yeah,
That's a consideration. But it's, yeah, because we get those too. People were like, "I'm proposing this weekend. Are you available?" I'm like,
right,
"Well, come on, dude. Like,
right.
when did you think you're gonna"
Yeah.
But
Yeah, yeah.
okay, so you need, I think that ends up being about 2-ish, 2 to 3 weeks. So that's what you kind of figure you need to plan out, scout, figure out what your alias is gonna be when you're there, like all of that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so, efficient at planning these now that I could plan it in, like, 3 days if I had to,
Mhm.
but it's also, again, full-time job, family, 2 kids, it's like I've gotta figure out there's a lot of shuffling to do. I could
Sure.
take off a day if it's a midweek, I do get midweek proposals, but, there's a lot of planning involved beyond the photography aspect of it. It's just life, right?
Right.
So,
Yeah.
I wanna give myself the time, but if there if somebody fills out the form and it's a shorter notice, I could bump up the price, say, "Yeah, but, short notice, I have to bump up the price." If it's a location that I really wanna photograph at, I'm not turning it down.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I offer incentives too for the same reason. And what do you feel like, and this is a serious piece of data that I did not ask you to bring to the table, so I understand if you don't know, but what do you feel like the conversion rate of the
yeah.
people that are reaching out to,
Yep.
go ahead and booking?
So before I had the price on there, I was probably booking, now I'm gonna split this into 2 different segments, and I'll
Yeah,
explain that in a second, but in general, I was booking about 50% of the people because some people just don't wanna spend money on
right.
it, they expect it for super cheap. Now I'm booking 90%
Yeah.
of the ones that
Wow.
I want, okay?
Yeah.
The ones
Yeah.
that I don't want, I'm not even counting them because I'm just referring them, and I already know right out of the gate. Now, the other segment that I wanna mention is, and this is something I've been struggling with, um, and I know the problem, I just haven't found a solution for it yet. Same-sex couples
Mhm.
or any couple that's in the LGBT community, I have not had any success booking, and the reason why is I don't have proposals to show.
Yes.
So when I get the leads, I don't book them because they're not seeing any previous proposals.
Right. Yes.
So
It's a
I know the
catch-22.
solution, I
Yeah.
just haven't found a way to solve the solution because I have not booked anybody in that community yet. So,
I'm actually in a similar predicament, not as where I don't have enough people of color in my portfolio.
interesting,
And
okay.
I think like if you were to like look at the percentage of my portfolio that has people of
Yeah.
color in it, it would mostly reflect where I live. Like
Mhm.
but it still means that
Yeah.
like those leads aren't seeing themselves in my portfolio, which is not okay with me. I'm actually doing a model call in April. I have a couple of families lined up. I, sought out families of color and they're getting a free session so that I can, and letting them know it's to represent the diversity in our area better.
Yeah.
Um, because it's tough. It is tough
Yeah.
to build a more inclusive portfolio when normally the prerequisite is having a more inclusive
Yeah.
portfolio.
So my sister-in-law's brother is gay, and they don't live in New Jersey, but when they were here recently, I sat down with the 2 of them and I had a conversation. I was like, "What do you suggest?"
Yeah.
And they both said to me, "Next time we're here, let's set up a time and we're gonna fake it." And they're
Perfect.
like, "We'll be your test dummies." And like, I'm like, I say to them, I don't want you to feel like I don't want to make it seem like this is a disrespectful thing. Like
Right.
um, I want it to come across as a real thing. I don't want it. I mean, they're married. They're a legit couple, but they are going to fake proposing for me, right?
Yeah.
But I'll have one. I'll have one session that I'll be able to show, and it'll be
Is
a
that really
start.
any different than a styled shoot? You know?
No, It's not, but I feel like that community is more sensitive to trying to fake it, and that's where I don't wanna overstep, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, I don't want it to feel uncomfortable for anybody at all, especially the 2 of them, who, of course, I've known them. They're basically family. I've known them for a very long time at this point, but still, in my head, and it could just be in my head, I don't want them or anybody else to feel disrespected, so,
Well, it's
anyway,
not
but
like they're
that's
acting, you know? They
right.
are they
They
are 2
are
people in love, so
yeah,
it's like and they are together.
yes,
So, I think it's totally benign, and I think that I think intention matters,
yes,
you know?
yeah.
So, I don't but
And by the way, they offered to fake it. I didn't bring it up. So, that was the other thing. That was,
Yeah.
uh, that was good, but
Listen,
so
I don't see I don't see a problem with it. I because like I said, like and I don't necessarily agree with going to a styled shoot and then putting that in your portfolio because I don't think it's really I think it's a little disingenuous. There's for a lot of reasons. But it's certainly I'm probably in the minority and with that opinion and it's not even in the same ballpark because this is not disingenuous. This is you're actually photographing a couple who's actually a couple who's just regular they're not paid models, you know.
yeah, yeah.
You don't have a
And
bunch of
the other
vendors
thing, though,
involved.
is I do have a lot of photographs of the 2 of them over the years.
Oh, okay.
So I already have, like, dozens and dozens of photos of them. They're just not a there's no, like, actual proposal in it, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's like, I don't know. They're a
Oh,
client, sort of, but they're
hey.
family.
Yeah. I
So,
mean, it is. It's you and I are both cis white people. And so we have that we understand that to be like it can feel awkward to seek these opportunities out and how do you even phrase that and what's the line and I think that's I should talk to somebody that should be an episode because that is
yeah,
I think this is like a
100%.
problem that a lot of people face is inclusivity in their portfolio and yeah it's like it's very it can be very tricky but good for you for recognizing it and
Yeah. I
having a
I
plan in action.
yeah, I will say as far as just people of other skin colors, that fortunately has become an easier thing for
Yeah.
me. I think it's partially from where I am in the state and um, the where Princeton University is as well is very much a South Asian community. And so I would say I think every proposal I've ever done at Princeton has not been a white couple, which is yeah, which is great.
Which is
Um,
cool. Yeah, yeah.
I think yeah, I'm pretty sure it's every single one. So, which and one of the nice things is I have conversations with all my couples throughout the hour that I spend with them of like, have you guys ever like have you already discussed what kind of wedding you're gonna have, right? And things like that. And if they say if it's a South Asian couple and they say, yeah, we're gonna have a traditional 3 or 4 day South Asian
Yeah,
wedding, I'm
yeah.
like, I know the perfect person to photograph your wedding. I'd be happy to make an introduction. And she happens to
Wow.
live in Princeton. So,
What's her name?
Charmy Pena.
Yes. Charmy Pena is who introduced me. I mean, she doesn't know that, but I heard her on a podcast, and she introduced me to what an Indian wedding was, and, like, what an incredible, alternative to being just a standard wedding photographer with that's
Yeah.
what your job looks like. So, so cool, so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so I believe that I was in B&H once at the same time as her. Like, I recognize her, and she was returning Nikon 135 Plana, and I'm like, this is a legit photographer here." That was how easily but, that's so cool. Wonderful, yeah, I'd love to talk to her personally.
I'd be happy to introduce you. She's awesome and she has a lot of very strong opinions on a lot of topics, including diversity. So if
Yeah,
you ever
yeah.
want to have an episode on that, she's your gal.
Noted. Thank you, Scott. Now, does she now this is a sidebar, does she use Imagine? Because she was also the person who I believe I first heard talk about the AI editing.
Not only does she use Imagine, but her editing style is built into Imagine.
Yes, she was like one of the first ambassadors, right?
Yeah,
If that's what they're
yeah.
called. That's what I thought. Okay. This is such we really do have a small industry. The whole
We
idea that
really
there's,
do.
like, oversaturation, it's like I rarely talk to a photographer at any part of the country that doesn't know another photographer that I know. It's
Yeah,
such a
yeah,
cool thing.
yeah.
Oh, it's so interesting. Thank you, Scott, and thank you for hanging on to my tangents.
Yeah.
So, okay, so you start to plan, the people reach out and, the planning begins. You obviously let them know, I'm I'm there I'm trying to be inconspicuous. Like, I don't want your hopeful fiance to know I'm there. Um, what can that look like as you're coordinating this with the people? And do you pull in other vendors very often?
I've only had to include Princeton has very strict rules. They're public. I can just go to the Princeton website, and if they've changed anything, I can see. It tells
Yeah,
you where you can and cannot photograph.
nice.
And
That's helpful.
and even when you are photographing, um, they even tell you if there's students walking by, get out of the way. Like you're not allowed to block anything, which I've only done once with a proposal. That was the one
Yeah.
where there was another one back to back with me.
Oh.
Um, yeah. Um, but otherwise, I've only had to include a vendor. Oh, twice I included a vendor. One was a small Christmas tree farm. I am Jewish. Never in my life was I ever at a Christmas tree farm. So and it was like a little family owned Christmas tree farm that also had their house was there that was fenced in, and there was like an old classic pickup truck decorated for Christmas. And
Okay.
so that is the one where the client went ahe to the Christmas tree farm ahead of time to scope it out, and because that was about an hour drive for me. Um, and then I got on a call with one of the owners of the Christmas tree farm, and he was just like, "You can go wherever you want,
Nice.
we'll put our dogs inside," uh,
Mhm.
and so on. And that was a really, 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 really fun one. And we got to use the pickup truck, and that was decorated and all that kind of stuff. Um, and then the other was, um, uh, I think it was in August. It was like just this past summer, at Lorita Winery is
Yeah.
a very large winery in
Familiar.
my area
Mhm.
that also has a flower farm on it too. And the flower field is very far from the vineyard part of things. So I coordinated with the event planner there to meet her in the tasting room, which she was late and I was cutting it close on time. They were having an event that day. Um, I didn't have to pay. They had to pay. They had to pay for this tour, uh,
Right, right, right.
the couple. But I met up with the event planner, and then we hopped into one of those UTVs, and she hauled she hauled ass
You can
to
say
the
yeah.
flower
You
field.
can totally say yeah.
She got she said to me, "You might want to hold on," and I'm like, or she said, "Do you want to hold on to those cameras?" I'm like, "Well, I use a spider holsters, so I'm like, I got it. They're locked in." She took off, and thought I was gonna fly out of this thing. She went full speed. Um, and anyway, so I coordinated with them, and both of the vendors, I added to the vendor section of PickTime, so they got access to those galleries,
Nice,
um,
nice.
and of course, doing the whole Instagram tagging them and all that stuff. So
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So speaking of gear, speaking of your holsters, what is your go-to gear? What do you
yeah,
feel like is the required gear for shooting surprise
yeah,
proposals? Yeah.
100% two bodies.
Uh-huh.
You need a shorter lens on one. You need a
Uh-huh.
longer lens on the other. So my my go to right now might change actually because Nikon just dropped the new 70 to 200 VR2 for the Z mount. Um, I am currently using the Tamron 30 to 150 2.8 lens. Beautiful lens. It is heavy. It is
Yeah,
big.
yeah, yeah.
um, but that 70 to 200 will get me a little bit further. So I'm thinking down the road I might switch. On my other so and that's on a Nikon Z8.
Okay.
Um, and then my other one is a Nikon ZF, and on that I only put a 35 millimeter 1.8 on it.
1.8.
What I would do at some point would probably be if I get the 70 to 200, I might wind up getting because I do have the 24 to 70 f4 that comes with the kit lens, which is a nice lens, but I might wind up getting a 24 to 70 2.8 for the other camera. I don't know, but for now
I'm
it's
sure you've owned the 24 to 70 2.8 before, maybe as a
yeah.
DSLR. Yeah, same.
I had it when I had a DSLR, I had it. But I have a feeling that they'll probably come out with a new version that's lighter, sort of what they did with the new 70 to 200.
What is this? You did the it's a it's another Zoom. It's not well known about it. It's also 2.8. I want to say it's like 20, it's not a 24 to 70, but it's in a similar
It's a little
range.
longer. Yeah, yeah.
What is
Uh,
that? They just told me about it.
Tamron just came out with it. Yeah, I don't remember what the focal length is, but it was another Tamron
No, this is the
specialty.
Nikon. This is the Nikon Z
Oh, a
lens.
Nikon one.
That's, like, not many people know about, that I didn't know about, but it's yeah, so I would imagine you feel like 200 millimeters is long enough? That's about the longest you'll need?
For the most part, so um I do have a 2x extension
Oh,
that
okay.
if I knew I had to be really far away, I would rent a longer lens and throw on a 2x extension. Um, but for the most part, 150's been fine.
Yeah.
200 would be better, of course.
Yeah. Yeah, 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 I think my associates go between one of them is a Canon shooter, I'm not as familiar, but I wanna say she might even be working on, like, a 105, but, regardless, it's been good,
Plus you can crop, right? So, I mean,
yes.
especially if you're going full frame, then cropping in, you're still gonna get a really fantastic photo.
You are.
So,
Maybe just missing the compression that you're after if that's your part of your style and things like that. Um, wow. Like, yeah, and the 2 bodies so that you're not switching back and forth between lenses when you because you said that you then move the session into an engagement session after that. It goes
yeah.
from a surprise proposal to engagement session.
Yeah. But by the way, there's also I have a value add that I don't charge people for, which is um before I was actually attaching a GoPro on top of my Z8. And I would just record a video of it just because if I'm aiming my camera at it and taking stills, I might as well get a
Might as
video of
well.
it.
Sure.
So I got rid of the GoPro and now I use so my iPhone has the Peak Design case on it.
Okay.
I personally am not a fan of the Peak Design products just overall,
Okay.
but their mobile line with this is brilliant. So this is actually it locks into their mount.
So just for people who are not watching, most people will not see this. It is
Yeah,
a
yeah.
little square where the magnetic part of your phone would be,
Yeah.
and that little square locks into a mount?
Yes.
Cool.
And so I have one of their mobile mounts that sit on top. I don't use I'm not on the hot shoe because that's not safe. I actually have a cage around my Z8.
Yeah.
So it's mounted to the cage and I could shake the camera and that phone is not falling off, right?
Okay.
And so now I'm using an app called Horizon Lock, which if I turn, it's still filming horizontal
Yeah.
always.
Cool.
Um,
Cool.
and so I'm getting my video on my iPhone, and I just picked up from Kickstarter, and it's now on Amazon. I haven't tried it yet. So because I wear glasses, and I don't, I find it uncomfortable when somebody's wearing meta glasses and they're like talking to me.
Yeah, agree.
Yeah, so I grabbed these, which are headphones, but right here is a camera, and to start recording, all I have to do is turn it, and
Right,
it
it's
starts
like
recording.
Inspector Gadget stuff.
Yeah, yeah. So what I'm gonna do is just for the proposal itself, put on the headphones and just start recording, and then when I'm done, turn them off, throw them in the bag, and but my phone will still be going. So I'll have like my phone recording, and then I'll have a little bit of like BTS for myself
Love it.
from
I
this
love
thing.
that.
So,
How
um,
cool is that? Oh,
Yeah.
so you're a little bit of a gearhead. I see behind you. You have never
Yes.
sold it. You have never traded in a camera.
I have.
Really?
Yeah, I don't have any DSLR stuff anymore. I mean,
Yeah,
I've got older DSLR stuffs, but, like, the workhorse cameras, the D700's gone,
yeah,
D800's gone, like, I
yeah,
got rid of the workhorses. I was using a D850 until I switched to the Z7, and then when the Z8 came out, I made the jump to Z8.
yeah, yeah. My Z7 II is getting, and I'm thinking like, "Oh, man, this thing is like 6 or 7 years old now." So, of course, it is getting, I don't think I've ever even owned or shot on a camera for that long. So, it's getting to the point, and my main body is a ZF as well. I actually really love it. I bought it
I
kind of as
love it.
novelty, but it's like,
Yeah,
it's so good. It's so
yeah.
good. I'm like, I think in the next year, I'm gonna have to replace my backup, which is the Z7 too. But yeah, and okay, I don't wanna get too into the weeds about gear, but since you are a gear person, you can speak to this. The 35 1.8 Z that Nikon puts out is more expensive than their 1.4, which was not the case in when it was a DSLR. Their 35 1.4 was a
Well,
heralded
they have
lens that
2
was,
versions of it.
of which, the 1.8 or 1.4?
I think the 1.8 they have 2 versions of.
Interesting,
Yeah, and I
interesting.
think the 1.4 they only have 1 version of. I have the inexpensive, I mean, quote, it's still $800 for the lens, but
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
it's,
I think their 1.4 is like 500, and then the 1.2, which I'm coveting, is 3K, which I'm like, super. But I don't need the range. In fact, I almost only ever shoot on a 50 1.2, and that's it. So, but,
mhm,
I do love that 1.2. I'm like, was you couldn't like, you could have peeled me off the ceiling when
yeah.
Nikon finally introduced 1.2. That, and it's just beautiful. Um, this has all been so, so fascinating. I've really appreciated, what sort of advice do you have, like, for people who are thinking of adding this to their offer suite, or maybe wanna pivot out of weddings and only doing this? Like,
Yeah.
how speak to that.
Yeah, yeah. So, first things first is get a system in place. Before you attempt to do one, if you've never done one before, or before you attempt to shift to this or any other niche, right?
Okay.
Get your systems in place, and not only for the lead generation part of things to what happens
Mhm.
after you get the lead, but how you actually do the session. What conversations do you have to have? What preparation do you have to have? There's a lot of stuff we have not talked about that I do with my clients that when I tell them this, they're like, "Oh, that's a really good idea." Like, you got to come up with things that make everything simple
Yeah,
and
yeah.
um for you and for your clients, right? But then if you're not in a situation like me, right? Because I'm in the situation as we've discussed where I don't have the time for too many sessions, and I don't have um I have the fortune of being able to refer, right? I do not ask my friends who I'm referring jobs to for a commission. If this was my only focus, not only would I upsell like crazy, but I would ask for referrals for every wedding I send, for
Mhm,
another engagement session,
mhm.
whatever
Absolutely.
it might be. If
Yeah,
I've had people who want headshots, I get people who want family sessions. I would ask for referral commissions like crazy if this was something that I needed and I didn't have my full-time job.
yeah, yeah.
So I
Yeah,
did the math. I actually did the math.
yeah.
Um if I went full speed on this and I took a proposal because I could take one every single weekend if I wanted to, at least one. If I booked every weekend multiple proposals and got referral commissions, I could easily make 200,000 a year just from doing this. Easily.
Wow.
Yes. That's how many leads I get that I have to say no to.
Incredible. Is there a reason that you have not considered an associate team?
Again, just time and energy of putting it all together. Like
Yeah, it still
I
requires,
don't know if I want to. I do it for fun. I do it because I love it. And if I put too much into it, I think I'm gonna wind up hating it, and I don't wanna hate it. I know myself too well.
you're right. Like, an associate still requires a lot of your hands in the pot, and it's not just like this, set it and forget it sort of situation.
Yes.
I'm only coming at this from the angle of somebody who did increase revenue by about 25% as a family photographer bringing on associates. So I can only imagine if you have this overflow of leads. But I mean, that's wonderful for you, and it sounds like you probably did influence your, local market with this as a niche and the other photographers, and, I kinda think too that, like, people see their friends' proposal photos, and then they're like, "Oh, that's what you do when you're proposing." Um, so it just, then becomes part of the local culture. Are you ready for some very lighthearted and easy lightning round questions to wrap it up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Scott, we'll start with actually the toughest one. Beatles or Rolling Stones?
Ooh, Beatles.
Yes, correct answer. Good. Who's your
By the
favorite
way,
Beatle?
that was a great question. Just as a little plug, I have a podcast called Lenses and Lyrics, which is where I discuss the overlap of music and photography with other photographers. And so that was a great question.
That is a great yes, we are so, like I said, my husband's a music teacher. We are a very musical family. Love the Beatles. My son's name is Harrison.
Oh, that's great.
All
My
of my
so um since we're talking Beatles,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
when my wife and I bought our first house together, our realtor's name was Paul. Our mortgage guy's name was John. So we named our there was a lot of Beatles
Yeah,
references
yeah, yeah.
for some
Oh,
reason while we were buying our house.
it's a
So
good sign.
we yeah, yeah. So we had two cats and that were brand new baby cats and we named one Ringo who's still alive and his sister Lucy unfortunately passed, but
Oh.
so we had Lucy, Ringo and then anyway, yeah, Beatles.
No, my in-laws, their labs have always been named after Beatles songs. So there was Abby and Maggie and Molly
Oh,
and Lucy and Penny. Um, yeah, and then, and our dogs are always named after drummers. My husband's a drummer. So it's
nice.
kinda like that okay, so next question is also, apropos to that is wh what do you prefer, podcast host or podcast guest? And not my guest
Ooh.
because I know I've been a hot mess today, but just in general.
I actually enjoy both, I think equally. I will say being a guest is far simpler because you
It
just
sure
gotta show
is.
up.
It
But
sure is.
yeah, yeah.
I agree,
As a
yeah.
host, I mean, as you know, for the most part, I would say, um, you know, 99% of us are doing our own production work, or doing our own editing and stuff. So,
Yes.
yeah, it's a lot more work.
Which I'm gonna have a lot of fun with today, but I don't know how this is
Yes, you
gonna come
will.
through if all of my technical snafus are going to, like, show up here today, but we'll see. Okay, best place to propose in your expert opinion?
Ooh, my favorite, not for the gear wise, but my favorite is on the beach.
Yeah, I
I
bet.
love seeing people propose on the beach and seeing
Yeah.
what creative ways they can propose on
Mhm.
a beach because you're kind of limited in a way.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
you
Yeah.
you quite but you quite literally have the world in front of you,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
you're also limited because it's just water and sand. So
Right. Yes, and not a lot of diffused light, so it's really you gotta be a master
yeah,
there. Okay.
yep, yep.
Do you have a bucket list proposal?
Ooh, so yes and no. One that I really want to do. This will be for the musical fans.
Yeah.
Remember the original Annie?
Mhm.
So I'm very close to the university. It's Monmouth University, which um, is where the mansion that she was living in,
Okay. I didn't know that.
that is
Cool,
there, and
cool,
it is free to go into.
cool.
And I photographed in there before, but for myself, like some panoramics, because it's
Yeah,
just beautiful.
yeah.
Um, I would love to photograph a proposal in there. And hopefully whoever hires me, knock on wood, does an Annie theme because
Does a wears a red
that would be
afro.
amazing.
Yeah, that would be
That
super
would be
with a
amazing.
puppy dog. Are you near Red Bank?
I am very close to Red Bank, yes.
Yeah, great venue there at the Count Basie Theater. big
Yes,
fan
it
of that
is. Yes, it
venue.
is.
Big fan. We
I
saw
My wife and
great
I
shows
went to
there.
see, Andy Grammer do
Cool.
a show there once that was one of the coolest live performances I've seen because he involved the audience and there was a lot of tears the
Yeah.
way that he did it.
Yeah.
It was magical.
Yeah.
He is an impressive guy.
That's yeah, we saw Beat there, which is a King Crimson, like, offshoot, and it was just so good. It was so good, and I loved we go to a lot of live music, and I loved, just the walkability of the town, being able to stay in a
Yes.
hotel and walk to the venue and feeling pretty good about it. It wasn't like,
Yeah.
we are close to the city, so we go there a lot too, and it's a very different it's also obviously, like, the most walkable, but it's nice to just, like, walk at night in Red
Mhm.
Bank and you're like, "This
Yeah.
is cool. I'm good," and then like, right on the water. It's a beautiful town. Okay, most extravagant proposal.
Ooh, extravagant. I would say, whew, I've had 2 where the decorations were out there. But the one that stands out interestingly, both of these were at Princeton. Um, One was in the gardens, and it was not the bench story, but it was a good one. But the other one at Princeton was the one where there was another proposal to my back, but the set, the design, it was they had 2 friends. I don't think he had siblings. It was 2 friends that got there an hour ahead with me and brought all the decorations and, we set it all up, and it was hundreds and hundreds of rose petals in a heart, and rose petals leading up to the thing, and then there was
Yeah,
pictures and, candles, and
and
it
you
was a
can't just
thing.
leave that there, like, so who cleans that up?
The friends gathered it all
How
afterwards,
kind.
and yeah.
Okay, okay.
That's typically what happens is,
Yeah,
if it's natural flowers and it's, like, in the gardens, the natural flower petals that for the one that was, the
right,
bench,
right, right, right.
it was a bouquet,
Mhm,
specific flowers in a bouquet, um, and that we carried, um,
right.
and but there was also natural rose petals for that one in a trail. Those we left because it's just natural flowers in a garden,
Yeah.
so that I'm
Yeah,
not gonna
yeah,
but
yeah.
if it's, like, the plasticky fake stuff,
The
it
worst.
has to get
Yeah,
cleaned up,
you do.
so
You have to. You do, people. You have to clean up after yourselves.
yes.
Okay. Have you ever photographed any like proposals gone wrong or just
Whew.
yeah, really?
Yeah. There is
Really?
one there is one, I learned a very hard lesson. It was not my fault, but I took all the blame anyway.
Okay. A true
Um,
professional.
yeah,
Yeah.
I felt bad. We even recreated the proposal, um, and they were still happy, and then it was like I delivered the photos, they downloaded the low res photos, and then they asked for a refund. And I wasn't about to fight them. I don't want the bad review, even though I knew it was not my fault.
And that's the truth. That's like the truth behind this is like it's not cut and dry as like, well, what does your contract say? Because we're like one single bad review does carry a lot of weight,
Yes.
unfortunately, and it's not
Yes.
always worth it. Oh,
Yep. But
uh,
and I still use their photos in my portfolio, by the way. Like,
good for you.
I mean, why not? I mean, I spent my time to,
Yeah.
help him plan
Yeah.
with a map and arrows of where he should park and walk, and he still went to the wrong place.
So that's
So,
what happened is he went to the wrong place and it kind of went sideways from there?
he texted me, "Done." And I'm like, "You didn't even walk past me. Like, what are you talking about, done?"
What do you mean done? So they needed to reenact it?
We reenacted it, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Just not the walking, just the proposal part. Because I do photograph them walking if I can do it
Sure.
secret, but
So is that like your worst fear as
oh,
a proposal?
100%.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
go over it so many times with the client of, "Here's where you walk," if there's a parking scenario, "Here's where you have to park,"
yeah,
so,
and
yeah, over and
you're
over again.
that well hidden that they will probably not notice you in most
It
cases?
depends on the location, but in this case, yeah, because of where he would have walked, there was a building that I'd be sort of hiding. behind a wall.
That's wildly frustrating, I'm sorry. That is
Yeah,
yeah.
it happens. It
Hopefully
happens.
yeah, not the rule though, the exception,
Yeah.
right?
You
Okay.
know what? Just as a side note, my
Yeah,
favorite part of these
yeah.
is when the person that's being proposed to finally sees me. That reaction is like the that like shock.
Yes.
That is my favorite. You know,
Well, because
your
it
heart's
says
still
so much.
racing,
Yeah.
but it's just a fun. It
Yeah.
brings me so much joy.
It is because number 1, they're realizing that that moment is now immortalized,
Yes.
which is,
Yep.
like, one of the best moments of their life,
Yeah.
and that their fiancé was thoughtful enough to plan for that, you know? Where I think most of the time it's probably men hiring you.
Yes.
That's not the typical, like, first thing to do on the checklist for men, you know, to hire a photographer. Like, kudos to the guys who do hire you, and, yeah, that would be as, like, a woman, if my husband had coordinated that, no shade because it happened, you know, no shade that he didn't, but that would be where my mind went. It's like, wow, like, not only do I now have this moment captured
Yeah.
forever, this guy
And
was thoughtful enough to have coordinated it.
yeah, and the biggest compliment besides referrals and besides
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a review, the biggest compliment is when the person that's being proposed to, when you finally go and introduce yourself afterwards, the reaction is, "I'm so glad it was you." Like,
So
no,
you're that well known.
yeah, yeah, where like
Yeah.
you know that the couple was researching it at one point and they had discussions about who you gonna hire when the time comes, and yeah, that's the
That's so
best.
cool, Scott. That's
Yeah.
really cool. Wow. And that says a lot about you. Okay, a little bit of a left turn, dogs or cats?
Yeah. I'm just taking the ship off a
Yeah.
different course. It's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. As always, that's how I do that. I'm own left turns only.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so dogs or cats for you? Yeah.
Um, this is a sticky subject. If it was up to
Oh,
me, I'd have 0 pets. I used my I grew up with dogs. My wife grew up with cats. We had 2 cats. We now have 1. Sadly, 1 passed. Lucy passed. So we have 1, but I have two humans. So when Ringo passes, we're done with animals.
wow. 'Cause this is
Yeah.
the way that this is mirroring my own marriage. So my husband is not an animal hater by any means.
Yeah.
He grew up with a lot of dogs, and he loves
Mhm.
our current dogs, and he's neutral on cats.
Mhm.
If it were up to him, he always says, "If I was a bachelor, I wouldn't even have a dog, like, this is enough, like, I
Yeah.
don't need to be cleaning other people's poop or other
Yeah.
creatures' poop." But I'm the one who, like, not only do we have we did lose a cat, but we are back to 2 cats again with 2 dogs and 21 chickens and 3 geese, so it's like, I am the problem, it is me, and I don't care. This is it,
The
this
first
is
the first step is recognizing who the problem is.
yeah, and, like, the second step is recognizing that it's a problem, like, it's not a problem. This is not
Yeah.
I'm like yeah.
Yeah. I
Uh,
I I cleaned the kitty litter when my wife was pregnant because that's not good
right,
for
right. Yeah, yeah.
but she hasn't been pregnant for a long time, so I have not cleaned cat poop in a very long time.
Yeah, it's the worst
Eh,
part about having cats, but I'm otherwise partial to cats, but
they
yeah,
are, I mean,
they're cool, they're cool.
yeah, they're
Yeah.
just, I like having furniture that is not torn into shreds, so
Oh, you have those that flavor of
yeah.
cat. Yeah, they
And
will hold
now
on to it.
beautiful leather couches that were brand new when we had them that are torn up,
Ringo.
and a gorgeous curio that we'll never find again that is torn up. So,
Ringo. No, my
yeah.
yeah, I had a cat who we have our house is not fancy or anything, but it's was built in the '40s and all the trim and molding is mahogany. And so, one of my cats did a real number on
Oh.
multiple, like, door jambs of that, and but that was like my little baby. It's all forgiven, Freddie. That's like but anyway, okay. I will go back another left turn. If
Okay.
you could only shoot with 1 lens forever, what lens would it be?
Easy answer, 35 1.8 or 1.4 or 1.2. Give me a 35.
Really? So
Yeah.
how would that, play out though if you continued to forever
Wouldn't
shoot
work
with
well
one?
in proposals, but
You love it.
for the actual proposal, but it's my favorite lens
Yeah, I love a
of all
35.
time.
That's
Yeah.
why I'm coveting one. I love it there. It's just so I don't know, my film cameras are on, it's a 35 and that's I just love there's 35 is cozy.
Yes.
It is
It is. That's a
classic.
good that's a good term for it, cozy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know. It's like I can't describe why, but it is. Okay, what about your favorite piece of gear that is not a camera or a lens?
Um, I mean, the spider holster is I've got a bad back, so spider holster has been I was one of spider holster's first ambassadors when they first came out.
Cool.
I
Cool.
mean, they just came out with their 3rd version, which I'm hoping to get. I'm not an ambassador for them anymore, but, um, spider holster changed everything for me when I got to stop using neck straps. So
Now, are they n are your so I'm always curious about the holsters. I use when I have and I usually do shoot with multiple bodies at once. It's normally with the, the moneymaker let harness, and it's fine. I don't have my back's not great, but it's not so bad. But, I'm always curious about the spider holsters. Are they completely untethered? Do you have are they do they have a strap at all connecting?
nope,
Or yeah,
completely untethered.
that feels like living on the edge.
It does. Yeah, you gotta get really good at knowing where the holster is and getting it in there before you go
Yeah,
into a high speed chase with it.
yeah. Oof. I would
Yeah.
probably have some sort of
Honestly, though,
incident.
for the proposals, I mean, I'm using the long lens for the main part of the part that requires speed, you
Right,
know?
right,
I'm not
right,
using my other camera with the prime lens on it for the actual proposal. I'm using that throughout the engagement part of the session.
right. Yeah, interesting. Very interesting. I'm sure you could find a way to tether it as well as having it on the holster, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, I'm
Um,
sure there's ways.
yeah. Okay.
Especially with their 3rd version. Their new version has, like, suspenders
Oh,
available, but
cool.
it's actually a suspension system for the belt. So it's
Oh,
not for
neat.
the camera, it's for the belt to
Yeah.
make it more even more comfortable.
Yeah, I bet it really offs because, man, like I said, I'm a family photographer. I have worked a very small handful of long events in the past few years, and I don't have light equipment. I don't need to have light equipment really. But oh, you feel it. You feel it
Yeah,
when you're there for hours and it's like,
yeah,
this thing's my wrist hurts. What's my problem?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What about your favorite piece of software that's not for editing?
Not for editing.
Sorry, Imagine.
No, it's okay.
I made
It's
that
okay.
question before I knew.
Yeah, not for editing. These days, is it technically software if it's in the browser?
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
Okay.
it's like an app or whatever,
Yeah, yeah.
they
So Gemini, I've been using. I know everybody's ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini, whatever. There's so many different. Uh, I have found that I can utilize Gemini and their what they call gems, like making custom
GPTs.
GPTs,
Yeah.
basically. I know Claude calls them skills. ChatGPT calls them my GPTs. Gemini calls them gems. Gems are my jam. I am using them
Okay.
left and right for
Yeah,
things.
yeah, yeah.
So,
Cool.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's been
a
good.
friend of mine really advocates for Gemini, and I think a lot of us are moving away from ChatGPT
Uh-huh.
for obvious reasons,
Yep.
but that's good to know. Good to
I
know.
can give
Yeah.
you a secondary that's been really useful as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
It's only for Mac users,
Okay, I
but
have the Mac.
there's an app called Mac Whisperer, which is a offline local. There is no paying ChatGPT or anybody. Um, and you can record Zoom calls and Google Meet calls and stuff like that without a bot entering the chat.
Cool.
And so when you
Cool.
have your sales calls or whatever it might be, it can record it and then transcribe and give you the meeting summary, so you don't have to sit there taking notes. So that's been really useful as well over the years.
That sounds very useful. Yeah, isn't it so funny how now whenever we're on a Zoom, there's, like, as many robots in there
Jill's
as
bot wants to
humans.
join. Who's Jill's bot?
Yeah, and some people have more than one, which I get because I
Yeah.
think, like, for me, my HoneyBook will, like,
Yeah.
slide in and then
Yep.
as well as the Zoom robot that's already there and, like, I
But
can
the HoneyBook one is useful for you because now that meeting goes into the notes for that client in your CRM. Yeah. So that's a different thing. If for me, I don't I don't need the CRM aspect right now.
right.
Again, if I was to take on more volume, for sure I would
Right,
need to use a CRM
right,
daily. So for me, it wouldn't be useful to have that it's so deeply embedded into something. Whereas, but at the same time, I see that happening built into the iOS and macOS ecosystem sooner than later.
right.
It's gonna be a natural progression of things. So, um, I mean, it's the same sort of thing where like Google Contacts will keep your history of emails for each contact. So
Yeah,
it's only a
yeah.
matter of time before that's built into the macOS ecosystem too.
Well, I mean, in case you couldn't tell, figure it out, I've raging ADHD, and it's like for somebody who's frontal lobe, I'm not even sure if it's ever closed. It should have closed by now, I don't know. It may not have. My executive functioning is awful. So for to get like these, they call meeting assets, whatever they wanna call them in different pieces of software, it is helpful to hang on to those bits of those details where I can be present for the meetings, present speaking to somebody, and then be like, "Hey, don't forget," and, like, goes on to a to-do list for me that I didn't even
Right.
it's great. It is
Yeah.
good. There are some good things happening while the robots take over, but, who knows how much
Yeah.
longer we have.
That's for sure.
Okay, and then when we will wrap it up with, 2 non sequiturs
Okay.
of non just irreverence. Ocean or pool?
Ooh. Oh. Pool for me.
Yeah.
Um, I do like photographing at the beach. I do like walking the beach, but I will spend my day in a pool, not
Yeah, yeah.
in the ocean.
Yeah, and I'm from Long Island, which is very similar to New Jersey in many
Yeah.
ways.
Mhm.
So I imagine like I did, you grew up on in New Jersey? You grew up in
Yes.
New Jersey? Okay.
I not in this area though. I grew up more north.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, did you
Yeah.
spend a lot of time at the ocean as a kid?
Not as much
No,
as I do
no.
now.
Yeah, I did. I was there every like almost every day in the summer. We could drive on our Jeep out to the outer beach and be away from the lifeguards, which just, like, blows my mind when I think about, like, we went there and, like, it was me and my brother and sister and cousins and friends, and, like, the adults were cool with that. Like, I think about all the time that I spent in there and, like, getting, like, the riptides and all that and the
Yeah.
undercurrents. I'm like, that is the infinite sea. I can't believe like, I don't know when the last time was I've voluntarily gone in the ocean. I certainly haven't brought
Yeah.
my children there, but I am also team pool now, though I love looking at the ocean.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
yeah, it's a powerful place. Okay, last one, Scott.
Okay.
Hold on. Ready? New
I'm
York
ready.
or Philly?
Ooh, good one. Okay, so I am 1 hour drive from both.
Mhm.
So, I'm the perfect person to ask this.
Yes.
Um, I like the l I love them both, right? To visit. I would not wanna live in a city personally.
In either.
Um,
Mhm.
but I feel more comfortable not only driving, but also walking around Philadelphia.
Get out.
And historically, I mean, I just like the history of Philadelphia more than the history of New York. So,
It is a very interesting. You know, I have been, like, increasingly impressed with the traffic situation in New York. Now, my sample size is not great. I've been to Philly once or twice, and the infrastructure of PA, as somebody who lives close to PA as well, like, it'll be winter, and I'll drive over a bridge, and on the other side of the Delaware, and this could be different from New York to PA, but or from yeah, from New Jersey to PA, but, like, from New York to PA, it's like they stop caring for the roads. The potholes are the way and this is I
uh,
really I'm sorry for speaking ill of Pennsylvania, the mighty Commonwealth, and I'm all my listeners who are in Pennsylvania. But I'm like, "What's going on in here?" Like, in the construction, the traffic was and, the
yeah.
Schuylkill, getting, like, all the time that I spent on the Schuylkill, just looking at the red line on my GPS ahead of us. So that was my and it might have helped if I remembered to get a cheesesteak when I was in Philly. I did
Ooh,
not remember to get a cheesesteak.
yeah.
And
Well, next time you're in Philadelphia, it's not in the heart of the city. It is in more on the outskirts, but there is a place that is fun to tour and photograph. I knew a photographer who no longer does weddings, but he used to photograph a lot of weddings here. Um, and it is Eastern State Penitentiary. Yes, a prison.
yes, no, I've heard this. I've heard
It
this.
is the oldest
Yeah, yeah,
prison
yeah.
in the country.
Yeah.
and it's now a museum. I have done a
Spooky though,
photography
right?
work. What?
Spooky, right?
They do, and they it's a little spooky. They also have a haunted house thing every Halloween, which is really spooky. But
Yeah.
I have, actually taken a photography a long time ago. I took a photography workshop there. It was my favorite workshop I've ever attended. Um, yeah, I've hosted many photo walks there,
Cool.
and
Cool.
it is just a really fun place. And also you learn a lot. I mean, there's a church there, there's a synagogue there, you get to see the kitchen. There's so many things that you get to learn about from a historic I mean, Al Capone was there
Yeah.
as a prisoner,
Yeah.
like, and his cell is still with a record player, like,
No kidding. Oh,
yeah, it's
so
still
cool.
set up the way
So
that he
cool.
left it. So,
That's so neat. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, maybe when the kids are older. How old are your kids, by the way?
11 and almost 8.
Stop it. Mine are 9 and 11. That is so funny.
That's a good
Yeah,
age.
okay. Yeah, well, maybe when mine are older, they would get down on that. That would be really cool. Hey, Scott, this has been, like, such an eye-opening conversation. I learned so much. I feel like we barely also scratched the surface,
Yeah.
though, and, the tech troubles didn't help, but, tell people about where they can find you and what you might offer, if in terms of if there's any resources that you might be able to provide
Yeah,
for
yeah, yeah.
people.
So, yeah, scottwyden.com. It's, SCOTTWYDEN. I have an education, um page on my site where you can get my black and white profile for Imagine. If you're looking for consistent editing in black and white, I have that available. Hopefully, my color one will be available one day. Um, I've got some ebooks there. I've got Lightroom presets there. And I just started vibe coding some fun games that are a retro vibe. And two of them are out.
Cool.
One is called the Oregon Photo Trail. So when I say retro, I'm talking 80s retro,
Yes.
even older.
Yes.
So there's some really fun ones there, and there's two more on the way. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff there. So
Wonderful, and we will also, do shout outs to Imagine and Mac Photo, Mac Camera, as they so richly deserve. Again, Scott, thank you so much. Appreciate your patience, truly.
of course,
And I feel like there's so many things that you could speak on that I'm probably going to have to ask you to come back. So look out for that email.
anytime, anytime.
Have a great day, Scott.
Thank you. You too.
Bye.
So until next time, keep shooting, keep creating, and keep building the business that supports your dreams. Have a fantastic week. And remember, in the business of photography, your creativity is your biggest asset.